Gabony, it's great to have you here, Becky. Okay, real quick here, we're going to try that again. I have System Director of Community Health, Becky Gabony. It's great to have you here.
Hi, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, just want to let you know that actually that we're having a little bit of difficulty with our phone line. So you're live on the air, no worries, but you may have difficulty hearing me at times. So I'm going to ask you the question, and we'll figure it out. It's going to work out just fine. But they can hear you. It's just that you cannot hear me through our regular phone line. Does that make sense, Becky? I should have let you know that off air. All right. So tell me a little bit about you as far as what you do for community health as system director before we continue on with our main kind of talking point here today.
Yeah, I work on issues related to social determinants of health. So all of the factors kind of outside the walls of our hospitals that contribute to folks' different health outcomes. So that might be, programs with schools or accessing food, income, employment, transportation, things like that. And I directly lead our teams in Jacksonville, Decatur, and Springfield. And then I indirectly help support Lincoln and Taylorville as well.
Well, you are having a summit this week, yes, in Christian County, and it's about homelessness and preventing homelessness. It's from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, April 26th at the Taylorville Municipal Building. So homelessness, oftentimes you don't really see it as much directly, at least face to face in rural communities. And it feels to me like we kind of see that in Christian County as well. Becky, what would you say about that?
Yes. So, we find that some folks say, is this an issue here? Is this not? And then other folks, have seen this issue up close. And so it kind of differs based on people's experiences. But nationally, we know that homelessness rose about 0.5% in 2020 to 2022, but it rose almost 6% in rural communities. And there's two kind of specific data points we look at when looking at kind of a federal definition around homelessness. And one of those is called a point in time count. And that ends up being kind of a low number. So this is a physical counting of people who are unsheltered out in the community. And last year's PIT count in Christian County came up with about 5 people. However, if we look at that second broader definition, which is a definition through the schools, there's about 140 children that are experiencing homelessness or are at risk of homelessness. And so I like to think of it as an iceberg where, we kind of have the tip of the iceberg of people that we actually have seen and identified as experiencing homelessness. But then there's all kinds of other folks that are doubled up in housing, or maybe the housing that they're living in isn't safe and functional, or they're couch surfing or something like that. And so we see that as a primary issue across the country and are definitely seeing that borne out in the data in Christian County as well.
Interesting. Well, I'm wondering what kind of plan by you, of course, I mean Memorial Health, have made to address homelessness in Christian County.
Yeah, so we're just starting out this work, and that's why we're really wanting to bring together the community at this summit. But we're trying to formulate a strategic plan that can address homelessness and housing issues for Christian County, recognizing that it's largely hidden. So we're asking the questions of, how do we better coordinate the services that are available? How do we fill in gaps, for services that maybe are not yet available or won't be available? And how do we really get a true understanding of what the issue is, like what's going on, and how we can engage the whole community in supporting that. So we've pulled together a large steering committee of folks to work on this. And through that, we have done a data analysis and a gap analysis on services. We've kind of laid out a structure for walking through this process. And now we're at the step of really soliciting feedback from the community, as well as people with lived experience of homelessness, and hoping that will pull together a comprehensive plan for how to address this need.
What kind of organizations or groups will you see at this summit Wednesday?
Yeah, so the summit is really open to anyone who wants to attend. So we hope that, residents that just have a heart for this issue, or people who have maybe experienced homelessness in the past, or, just worry about neighbors having housing insecurity issues. We hope everyone will, who has a connection or wants to know more, will come to the community summit. As far as the steering committee for the strategic planning process, we've got about 20 or so organizations that are working together to address this. So that's everything from CEFS, Christian County Outreach, to the Christian County Housing Authority and Health Department, the County Sheriff's Office, the Taylorville Mayor, of course, Taylorville Memorial Hospital, Pana Community Hospital, Sharp House, SIU School of Medicine, and on and on. So we really, we feel like the more collaborative this work is, and the more that we all are aware of what's going on and can collectively move in the same direction, the better the impact will be.
That is quite the list of names, Becky. I want to know also what kind of work. Obviously, we're talking big time here about Christian County, but that's not the only county that we are, or even you as Memorial are in. So what kind of other work are you working on right now in the surrounding communities that Memorial takes care of?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And this work was really, sprung out of a large strategic planning process that was done in Sangamon County. And to your point, every community and every county looks different when we look at this issue, and has different needs. But in Sangamon County, we had or have over 1,100 people who are in our homelessness system of care. And we had a disjointed system that, everyone was doing their best, but folks who are providing direct service are spread really thin, and trying to provide those services. And so in Sangamon County, we hired consultants to come in and spent 2 years developing a strategic plan for Sangamon County. And coming out of that, part of that was cross-system collaboration and kind of looking at the larger system of care. And so we know that in our rural communities, a lot of times folks experiencing homelessness are kind of brought into Sangamon County for services. And so if we can coordinate that more effectively, we can help ensure that people are housed and have, a better experience in the process. So we're also doing this, we're mirroring the process of Sangamon County in Morgan County as well, over in Jacksonville. And then we're also involved in some similar work in Lincoln, and are certainly involved in this work in Decatur. But the Decatur work is, a little more developed at this point. So yeah, we're really trying to address this in all of the counties where our hospitals reside. And so right now we're really digging into that kind of coordination and planning process for Jacksonville and Christian County.
Becky, are there any other areas of need that the steering committee has discovered that you'd like to share before we head into a timeout?
Yeah, we're pulling together 2 subcommittees, and one of those is around mental health, and the second one is around the actual supply of housing units. And those are 2 issues that are certainly, integrated with the issue of homelessness. And we recognize that there is a lack of mental health resources in Christian County. We know that we have some resources, but figuring out how to make those, most effective and most accessible is certainly part of the work of this committee.
That is System Director of Community Health, Becky Gabney. And so there's more from her after this short timeout right here on WTIM.
WTIM. Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yankee. We are mixed today. Corn is still moving lower with May down 7 1/4, 656. July down 8, 607 1/4. December down 4, 544. May soybeans up 14 1/2, 14.98. July up 11 3/4, 14.60 3/4. November up 3 3/4, 12.89. May wheat off a nickel, 656 3/4. KC up 3 3/4, 844 1/2. Livestock contracts are also mixed. We have May lean hogs up 72, 77.75. June live cattle down 57, 163.95, and May feeders down 215, 210 and a quarter. Crude oil contracts are up 68, 78.55. The Dow up 77.5. This is the RFD Radio Network.
It's time to think farm safety.
In recent years, more houses have been built in rural areas near farms, increasing the risk of accidents involving farm equipment and personal vehicles. Whenever you spot a tractor or other equipment on the road ahead of you, slow down. Don't attempt to pass until you have enough clearance.
This week and every week in 2023, think and practice safety first.
Rural Electric Convenience Cooperative, supporting the communities we serve.
This is Jennifer Franken's daughter, Isabella. My mom's with the Kathy Garsh sales team at the Real Estate Group in Taylorville.
I'm Ellie Keel, Brian's daughter.
And I'm Ava, Ashley's daughter. Our parents work together to help you buy or sell your home in Christian County.
I know my mom and her team have lots of experience in the real estate industry.
And they have a cool-looking office right on a square in Taylorville.
Come see my mom, Brian, or Jennifer at the Kathy Garsh sales team. They're trusted, dedicated, and connected.
Most people understand the need for life insurance, but not many want to talk about why it's essential to your financial plan. It may seem intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Don't get overwhelmed. Get started with Country Financial. Call me, Brandon Bible, today at 217-287-2332, and I can work with you to find life insurance that gives you the protection you need at a price you can afford.
Life insurance policies issued through Country Life Insurance Company and Country Investors Life Assurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
John Gardner here, president of the Taylorville Kiwanis Club, inviting you to our annual pancake and sausage breakfast this Saturday morning from 6:30 till 11 at the Taylorville Moose Lodge. We'll offer inside seating as well as take drive-through orders. Proceeds benefit the many Kiwanis programs for children and youth in the Taylorville community. Tickets are $7 and can be purchased from any Kiwanis member or at the door. Hope to see you at our annual Taylorville Kiwanis pancake and sausage breakfast this Saturday from 6:30 till 11 at the Moose Lodge.
Your information station, WTIM.
It's a WTIM morning show. I'm Avery Cooper, your host. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville. You'll always do better with Landmark. And People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. Find the streams on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. I have System Director of Community Health, Becky Gabney, on the phone, and we're talking about homelessness as there is a summit this Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30 at the City of Taylorville Municipal Building about homelessness in the community. And I want to know, Becky, who homelessness is impacting. Tell me, who is homelessness impacting?
Yeah, I always appreciate that question because I think there's so many different kind of ideas of what kind of person experiences homelessness or things like that. And what we have found in Christian County specifically is that, a lot of these folks are families or people with children. So there were 78 individuals entered into the system of care in the first quarter of the year, but that was from about 50 households. So those are multiple people within a household that are experiencing an issue. And we found that about 64% of those folks have an income. So I think that's one of those common misconceptions is that people who are experiencing homelessness maybe aren't working or don't have money or something like that. But that's really not the case. And so, it can affect all kinds of folks, and you never know what situation might happen that could put you at risk of homelessness. And so, and that's another reason that it often can be hidden.
That's nearly 2/3 of the homeless population. Do I have that right? 64%? That's nearly, I have to repeat myself because I forgot, I neglected. But for the listeners out there, I'm putting that disclaimer out there. But so Becky can hear me. That's about 2/3 or almost 2/3 of the homeless population. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite the amount of people. So if they, nearly 2/3 of people who are homeless have an income, what gives? Why are they homeless?
Yeah, one of those subcommittees that I mentioned earlier that we're really looking at is housing units. And so what housing units are available? What of those units would be considered affordable housing that people could meet? The rent payments for, what would be needed in order to be able to meet those payments, and really reflecting on how do we help stabilize folks who are trying really hard and want to be housed. And how do we ensure that they can access that housing?
Interesting. And so if there is anything we can do at this point about housing, what would be your message to the community, Becky?
Yeah, what we're seeing is there's a lot of federal dollars being made available to either help, definitely help address homelessness, but also to support housing and affordable housing. And so the better plan we have, if we have a coordinated plan and a coordinated approach, we end up being much more successful at bringing in those kind of dollars to our community. So really the best way to help get involved at this point is to come to the summit and help provide your insight and feedback on your ideas and how you might be experiencing this or seeing this in our community. And then, kind of keep an eye out or an ear out for this plan as it evolves, because we're certainly going to need the whole community to help, address this.
I know one of the things that community health really Memorial Health rather, pays a lot of attention to is mental health. How does mental health play a factor in the population of homelessness in Christian County?
Yeah, so this is actually the first community health needs assessment cycle that we named mental health a top priority across our entire health system. And we recognize specifically in Taylorville, that there is a lack of mental health resources and it's difficult to access. And so part of this work is really looking at how is mental health impacting homelessness. And it is, I believe the statistic is somewhere around half of the folks within the homelessness system of care are experiencing a mental health issue as well, kind of alongside. And so we also know that just experiencing homelessness or coming into that system can be a trauma in and of itself. And so if we can be trauma informed in how we're approaching that, that can help us mitigate some of that harm that is occurring for people who are experiencing homelessness, and it can help, children be more resilient and things like that. So everyone who is experiencing homelessness does not have a mental health issue. However, we do see a lot of mental health issues for people experiencing homelessness. So we recognize that that's just part of this, and has to be looked at holistically as we approach this issue for sure.
Well, I wanted to give you a chance to make your pitch to residents of the county that care about the issue. We have about 30 seconds for you to do so, Becky.
Yeah, myself and Darren Butts, the Director of Community Health for Taylorville Memorial Hospital, will be leading this event on Wednesday, and we just really hope to see community members there who are interested. We've had folks reach out to us directly to say, hey, we're noticing this is more of an issue in our community. What do we do about it? And so we hope to provide an opportunity to help us do something about it. And Darren and I really look forward to seeing some of our neighbors there at the summit on Wednesday.
That's from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Taylorville Municipal Building. You just heard from System Director of Community Health, Becky Gabany. Thank you so much, Becky.
Thank you.
WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W.